Hey Techno Studs, in this video we're going to set up an FTP server on our demo Pi so that way we can connect to it and see what traffic looks like going to this FTP server. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is install the FTP services. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a terminal window on the demo Pi machine. I'm on the demo Pi. I'll make it a little bit larger so we can see this. And then within here I'm going to type in sudo, because I need elevated permissions for this, and apt get, and we are just going to update all of the packages on this machine to make sure that everything is up to date. Once everything's up to date, I'm going to elevate the permissions once again and use our apt get, and this time I want to install, and I'm going to install vsftpd. So I'll install this. Takes about a minute for it to install. Once it's installed though, we can jump into our configuration file and edit some of the configurations. So I'm going to use my elevated permissions once again, and I'm going to use nano to edit etc vsftpd.conf file, and we'll get into this, and there's a few items that we'll uncomment and a couple changes that we're going to make in this. The first one is this anonymous enabled, no, which is already uncommented, so I don't need to worry about that. Local enabled, yes, so that's uncommented, I don't need to worry about that. Write enabled, yes, I want them to be able to write, so we're going to uncomment that. And then scroll down to the local umask. This is setting up some permissions. I'm going to uncomment that. And the scroll down to find the truth, or the truth underscore local underscore user, yes. So I'm going to scroll down till I find that and delete the comment off of this one. And the last thing that I'm going to do is scroll to the end of the document and add this user underscore sub underscore token equals $user, and local underscore root equals /home/$user/FTP. I'm going to exit out of this document now and save it. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a directory that we're going to actually be accessing using these FTP services. So I'm going to list out to see what's inside the home directory, and it is demo Pi. And what that is demo Pi is the user that I'm creating, and that's the home directory for it. So that's what we're going to actually use to access this server. So I'm actually going to look into that directory now. So let's look into the demo Pi. And we can see that there's a few things in here. FTP is not one of them. So I'm going to make a directory inside of there. So mkdir, make a directory inside home/demo Pi, and we're going to call this FTP. So, and then I'm going to create a directory within there that we're actually going to access. We'll call this files. So now if I list out what's inside of my demo Pi directory, I can see that FTP is inside of that. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to change or modify the permissions that are on that directory. So I'm going to use the chmod command and a-w. That changes the permissions of, we want to change home/demo Pi/FTP, and we are going to hit enter for that to change the permissions on that particular file. So the next thing that I'm going to do is just create a test file so that way we can practice downloading something. So I'm going to type in my nano program here, and I am going to create it in the home directory. In the demo Pi home directory, it'll be the FTP folder, and we have that files folder. So I'll create it there, and I'm going to call it, we'll just call it maybe test.txt. How about that? And then in here, this is a test. I'm going to hit Control X and save this and save it to that location. And then let's see if we can download this. So we've made changes to our configuration file. We also made changes to the files. Now, since we made changes to the permissions of the files and created this test file, we wouldn't need to restart after those operations. But after reconfiguring the configuration file, we do need to restart this. So we can either restart by the reboot command and then rebooting the server, or I can restart this specific server, so our service. And so I can type in sudo service vsftpd and hit restart or restart to restart the service. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll get that restarted. Now all there is to do is test this out to see if it's functioning well. I hope these videos are really helping you out. If it is, could you hit that like button?